Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Mario, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate it. We've got the Japan GP this weekend, but before all that, if you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment in the episode. If you're on Apple Music or Spotify, download the episode, leave us 5 stars, leave us a review. All only good things. We'll read those in a future podcast. Specifically, our people here in the Quick Stop F1 Saturday show, we see you in the YouTube comments, giving us your opinions, sounding off. We appreciate it so much. Joining me, as always, if you're not on video, you're fucking up because the hair is done, it's ready, and it's looking great.
It's ready, yeah.
It's so, I see what you did. She's the hardest working person in the business. She's the main reason we're all here, especially today, because I tried my best to get her to record this episode so much later than we are right now, and it's really early, and she's making me be here. And please don't ask me to blink twice, because I will.
Right.
It is the best, the most co-host of them all. It is
the most
Tasha.
co-host. I love
The
it.
most co-host of it all.
This is how you know it's early.
It's so early.
Hell. Yeah.
We early.
Yes.
How are you, Tasha? How are you?
I'm tired.
Yes.
That's how I am. Like,
yes, I am too.
I don't no thoughts, just vibes. So
yes,
yeah.
just vibe. We're running on vibes, orange juice.
We're riding
and water.
on straight up. I have my little glass of OJ. Try to do the thing with like athletes do, where they drink like or eat fruit, for the quick energy. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
not an athlete though, so
I'm too far from an athlete to actually be like, I don't think orange juice would laugh at me and be like, you think I can make miracles here? Speaking of miracles, we almost got podiums correct from last week.
Yeah.
So
almost.
We were in Singapore GP last week. If you caught that episode, thank you very much. If you didn't, welcome to this one. Tasha's podium pick was Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton. Mine was George Russell, Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton. Actual podium was Sainz, Norris, and Hamilton. I need to issue a public apology, Tasha. I did not know Carlos Sainz had it in him. Back-to-back first places like that. And the race that he put in Singapore was just phenomenal. So, yeah. Any quick thoughts on what you saw in Singapore?
I hate to see Carlos Sainz happy. I really do. But honestly, good for him. Like, somebody else had to win this season. He did what he had to do. I mean, it was an interesting strategy to get to the end, basically backing up into Norris to give him DRS to help him fight against the Mercedes. Because, the Ferrari tires are pretty bad. They degrade really quickly. So he didn't really have the pace to kind of like, defend against two Mercedes on new mediums. And so he just kind of used...
Two Mercedes?
Used Norris, yeah.
Not
well, until there was one. Yeah, and then there...
Because first Carlos Sainz had to defend against two Mercedes, but then Carlos had to defend against one Mercedes, and then the wall had to defend against the other Mercedes. Yeah. Man, my segues are so good right now. Speaking of Mercedes,
that's good.
How cleansed, how great, how pristine has your timeline been this week?
I just feel like that helmet has single-handedly. We need to not record it. 5 a.m.
At 5 in the morning. I agree. I told you. I tried to tell you this.
But I feel like single-handedly it has like purified Formula One. Like my whole feed is just everybody's jovial, everybody's happy. Like a little bit of chrome. Like who knew? Like a little bit of shiny chrome and like really good chrome. Like when you compare it to Lando Norris's helmet, his Google Chrome, the chrome was good. The chrome was good. But this is chrome. Like it looks like an actual robot helmet. Shiny, polished, new, like all of that. And it lights up. Like
it's so sick.
I cannot
it's
fucking
so
believe
fucking sick.
that Lewis Hamilton is driving around in a Soriyama customized helmet. He has 2 of them, I guess. Like one for decorative purposes, and one to race in. And I like that is just cool as fuck to me. Like just to think of like an artist that like culturally relevant because everybody has seen his work.
Yeah.
And yeah, to see him create a helmet, to see them do the designs for the plus 44 drop, it's just like very refreshing to see art kind of be at the forefront, like the cross section of art and Formula One. And yeah, I don't know. It's done a lot for me. It is, especially after last weekend with Mercedes and Lewis.
We needed something.
We needed something, yeah. Timeline cleanse for real. So yeah.
I love those pictures. I've liked every I liked it when Lewis Hamilton posted them. I liked it when you retweeted them. I liked it when literally anybody has posted it, literally with any comment.
Can't get enough
at all. Because I'm like, yeah, this is it's perfect. It's perfect. The photo shoot was I could only dream of working on a photo shoot like that just because it looked so it looks so cool. The pictures turned out amazingly. You know, I think it's a pretty easy comparison to make, but the helmet very Daft Punk vibes to it.
I got like Iron Giant as well. Like I know they're not the same, but just like very like it's just like I don't know, like it's very cool. Like lots of references.
It's so cool. I think and this merch drop thing, like it's becoming. Actually, maybe it's been a thing for a while, but my experience with Lewis Hamilton and merch really peaked at the Takashi Murakami collab from Japan last year. And then this year, you and I were texting like, "Are you ready for the drop? Are you ready for the drop? I'm ready."
Counting
for the drop.
down to noon.
I texted you like happy Lewis Hamilton merch drop day. Like it's really becoming that vibe for me, where it's like so Japan GP and Lewis Hamilton come together, and it's like I am going to spend
something
money
to look forward
today.
to. Yeah. Did you get anything from the drop today?
I did.
Couple things.
I got me some t-shirts and the jacket. I'm so proud of me, man. I'm just so proud of me for not buying the hoodie because if you know Mario, he has a problem with hoodies. But I didn't. Did you get anything?
Yeah, I got the stickers. I feel like I'm like one of the very few people who actually like loves the sticker packs that he does. So I got those. I got and just like 2 of the long sleeves. So the helmet design and then the robot design as well. I want to be cozy, so. Yeah, the jacket was dope as fuck, but I was like, I'll never wear it. Like, it'll be something I just keep in my closet, which is not really a bad thing. It's a collector's item for sure. But yeah, I was like, I want to snuggle up and like in my plus 44 merch and like watch Harry Potter movies in the fall. Like, I had a whole thought process.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like I bought some merch off of the Silverstone drop, and those stickers were freaking really cool.
I did see the pricing for shipping for people who were not in the United States, and we need to work that out. That shit was crazy. I saw somebody go to buy like this $90 shirt, and there was like $30 of duties, like $40 of taxes. Like I don't know. At the end of the day, it ended up being
Excuse me, is Lewis Hamilton gonna drop that shit off at my house? Because if he is, I'll pay it.
Like we need to listen. Team LH is loyal, but I don't know how you can justify spending $200 on a $90 shirt. So
that's crazy because
shipping was $5 for me. So I
that's crazy. Oh man. Oh man. So I would pay $100 shipping if Lewis Hamilton shows up. He knocks at my door. He's like, "Here's your package."
In the helmet,
Oh no, I would pay double for the fucking. If he comes in the helmet, I'll pay double.
Right.
Gladly. You had a great comment that like we didn't get a miniature version of this helmet, which is a travesty. Which is what? And then we talked about like you put a little USB cable on that thing, you light up. I would have that on my computer, like no question about it. No question about it.
Right on the desk. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely.
The Lewis Hamilton it never stops. This week's been great for it. We also got we have so many things we can talk about. So quickly, because it is still clothing, did you see the 44 watches? I did. Love that watch. Not
watch
going
was
to
gorgeous.
Not even gonna look at the price. Not interested.
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
not for me.
Pass, yeah.
That's not for me.
Out of my tax bracket, I'm buying stickers from Plus 44. I'm not buying an IWC watch.
We do like, well over here, no. But we don't do IWC 1 of 44 watches over here. Well, okay?
Right, exactly.
What we do well here is Tasha and I just thought of this. You and I are gonna race RC cars one day.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
You and I should definitely do that.
That would be fun.
Ooh,
I don't
find
know
a
if I have
cool
enough.
spot,
Yeah.
race it, make a whole video. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think that'd be awesome. I don't think there would be as good or as pricey as the ones Ocon and Hamilton were
Yeah, those
driving,
were
though.
nuts. Those were crazy. They actually put
Those
gas
two
in
look
those.
like kids.
They are kids, I think.
They
Like,
are?
just
Okay.
yeah, in adult bodies. They're
Okay.
kids with adult money. Like that's the dream. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like you make that much money and you still like hang on to your childhood and you race RC cars and you go to Universal Studios and dress like Toad. Like you just have like a blast. Like I love that for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that just makes me
Yeah.
so happy for them that they are able to still like have fun. But the RC cars that they were driving were absolutely insane. They had a little course set up in the pit lane. And it was just Esteban and Lewis just kind of like going at it for like a couple of laps. And it was just like really dope to see them having fun.
You know how I know Lewis really cares about the environment? He's talking about the RC cars in an interview, and he literally says, sadly, they were petrol.
Yeah.
I wanted to drive electric. I'm like, bro, it's RC cars. You spent like a shot glass of gas. Relax. Yeah. We're okay. But no. He wanted electric. Yeah. He didn't want no petrol RC car.
I didn't even know that they took petrol, so that was a surprise to me.
Yeah. I was just enthralled by the
I just
RC
thought you put
car.
little AA battery in it and called it a day, but I guess that's...
I wish we could get like
another
a race.
thing out of my tax bracket.
I hope on Sunday they do like a sprint for us before the actual race, just with them and the RC cars.
Just RC sprint, yeah.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
The range on that, never mind. Woo. Also talking about Lewis Hamilton was F1 TV because they were spotlighting or they were talking about a new camera angle or a new camera that's in the cars, and it looks like only Lewis Hamilton has that camera on his car this week. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely recommend watching a video of it. Shows a really like a new perspective from the, I guess not necessarily from the driver like the helmet cam is, but it shows a new perspective of the car, the driver, and the track. I thought it was really cool. Did you see any videos about it?
I did. I didn't see videos about it, but I did. I think one of the free practices. Yeah, it was like this new angle, and I was like, "What is that?" Like, it just felt. It was like kind of off because it's like off the like over his shoulder, basically. So you're not like on the helmet. You're not like on the front of the car. You're off to the side a little bit, but you get the perspective that you're like in the car with him. That you're seeing basically the track the way that he's experiencing it, which I thought was really cool. So I don't know. I'm just like excited about the different like camera setups and stuff that they experiment with to like try to give us the viewers a bit more like of a realistic sort of feel of like what's actually happening in the car. Because obviously at those speeds, it's just really difficult to give that perspective to the viewer. So yeah, it's just interesting. And yeah, I enjoyed it.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. I like innovation in general, like that they're trying new things. That's really cool. Helmet cams, the concept of it is really cool, but like the execution of it is always kind of iffy. But the last little thing we have is we're gonna talk a little bit about the Vettel thing later, but you see Vettel's Instagram? Yeah. Only follows one person on that thing.
Yeah, well, I think he ended up following everybody eventually.
Eventually?
I could be wrong. Eventually, okay. I think he did. But yes, the first person was Lewis, which I mean, like, come on, that's the most.
How do you know so much
obvious choice?
Like, how is Vettel so good at Instagram without being on Instagram to know Lewis is the first follow? Obviously,
he's the perfect. Because he's like he's got this finger on the pulse. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did he say last season before he left? Like one of those t-shirts was like, I think he said something like this race will be underwater in like however many years. Yeah. Talking about Miami, but it actually happened in like Italy sooner than that. But like he's just thinking, he's very much thinking about like the future. I don't know why I'm relating that to Lewis Hamilton. Either way, I think he just knows what's up. Like that's his friend, that's his guy. Like he just wanted to, follow the coolest man on Instagram.
How do you decide between following Lewis Hamilton or Roscoe first? That's my problem.
Yeah. I mean, personally, Personally, yeah. I think I followed Roscoe first on my
Same. Honestly, same.
Oh my God, yeah. I like his
I
little
like
friend group.
Roscoe's
It's cute.
updates a little bit more
Yeah.
than Lewis Hamilton. A little bit more.
No, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to put two bad bitches together, like they're family. Yeah.
We just want to say thank you to Lewis Hamilton for
Yeah.
for
Thank you for
really doing the
existing.
most this week with our timeline. We enjoyed it.
I hope his back's okay from carrying literally every aspect of Formula One. Marketing, social media, the race.
What more must he do?
With his
What
helmet?
with the helmet? Like people tune in, people tune into FP1 just to see like, is that shit gonna be
And we're
shiny during the
disappointed.
race? Every picture is to the helmet. I'm just in love with the helmet. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of comments on the helmet, a lot of tweets. I liked all of them most likely. If y'all want to be part of the conversation, want to let us know what we should talk on the show, let us know what your thoughts are on what we talk during these episodes. You want to check up on us on the YouTube comments or our socials, feel free. We do enjoy having these conversations with you all, and we really appreciate the engagement with our people. That's why we do this. I think that's one of the most enjoyable parts of this, is listening to everybody.
Most everybody.
Most everybody. Yeah. It's fine. We don't let the few ruin it for the most over here.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna go to a quick ad break. Reach out, let us know what you think. 5 stars, downloads, all that thing. We'll be right back. So Tasha and I are here to break down the Japan GP, but like we always like to do, we have some quick little news articles that we want to mention, some things that have happened since last week. Tasha, what do you have for us this week?
Well, the big thing is the contract extension for Oscar Piastri. He's, I don't know what McLaren's deal is with these multi-year contracts, but they were like, "Hey, we love you, so
you live
here for
now.
3 more years." Yeah,
you are our
Here are the
son
keys
now.
to your home. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Zach has made him his new son. So, so he'll be at McLaren until 2026, which is pretty cool. Like a rookie getting signed a multi-year deal, like that's dope. I mean, he's earned it. Like he's been killing it. So,
absolutely. It's on merit, absolutely. And we talked about him. I think every week we talk about cool things that he's doing.
Yeah.
I really liked the tweets. He's pretty good at the Twitter thing. He's pretty good at the little Twitter thing. He put last week he had the tweet about finishing the interview that got interrupted. And I think in F1 you think Oscar Piastri, it's hard not to remember the Alpine situation where he tweeted, "I will not be racing for Alpine." So I really liked he tweeted out stress-free contract announcement, like always, and a little winky face. So cheeky. So cheeky. Speaking of contract extensions, we also got the driver lineup for AlphaTauri set up. So it's going to be Danny Rick and Yuki Tsunoda. Yeah, okay. Try that.
34-year-old man on the junior team. Why not?
Oh, right. I forget. This is like junior team.
Yeah,
right.
Junior. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Do you have any thoughts on how excited you are and how Danny Rick is definitely going to prove himself this next year with AlphaTauri, and how it's definitely not going to go wrongly, and how they should have definitely not signed Liam Lawson? Any thoughts?
No, I think you summed up pretty well. Actually.
Okay. Yeah. Good for Danny, I guess.
Yeah. Good. Go, Danny. Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you got, Tasha?
So in other news, we have the news that 3 of the 4 teams were rejected by the FIA who were interested in becoming part of the grid. It looks like Andretti is the sole survivor of this round. So yeah, it's been pretty interesting. I mean, we've been covering this kind of since the beginning, just sort of, now we are, and we're learning that many of the teams that have applied are basically not getting the approval.
What is
getting the go ahead?
What does your gut say? Are we having a new team 2024?
Honestly, I don't. I still don't know. I mean, again, because this is like the FIA versus F1 management, and so the FIA is like, yeah, we want Andretti and whatever, I still don't know if F1 management, if the team bosses are all going to like come together and like agree to like, give him a position. I feel like he's done everything. I don't know what else there needs to happen, but I don't know.
That's what it
The
feels like
ongoing
me. Like, this
saga.
has
Yeah.
been dragging so much. Like, what else do they need
Right.
to do? It almost feels
Right.
like it's just a little game that's being
Exactly.
played. We mentioned a little bit about Sebastian Vettel. I just saw, they've been talking about it all weekend, where he set up at turn 2, he set up a hotel for insects, basically.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It is about promoting like the I'm sorry. It is to spread the message about biodiversity in our ecosystems by creating a set of specially created insect hotels. The content behind it was pretty cool because basically they got everything set up to start being built, and then that's when the drivers and Vettel and representatives all got involved. So you can see all the drivers building this insect hotel that they're working on. The content's really good. It's pretty wholesome. Everybody's there. I literally saw like Lance Stroll carrying some stuff, Alex Albon painting a house. It's just cool things to see.
Alex Albon's bee house painting, he put wolf, and I was like, bro, like the sound that bees make is not woof, but I'm gonna let you rock. Like, just
hey man, I've never been to Thailand. I don't know what sound the bees do in Thailand. I'm pretty sure it's not woof. But if Albon, Albon can do no wrong at this point. Really.
He owns like 87 pets, so maybe one of them is a bee that barks. I don't know.
Did you have the toy growing up that it was like this circular toy and it had different animals and it would spin an arrow and the arrow would land on the animal and it would do the animal's noise?
Wow, that's nostalgia. Yeah.
Maybe Albon's was messed up and when it landed on the bee, it did the woof. So we need to address if this is an actual thing. He might actually think that.
Yeah.
We need to look into
it. We'll investigate and get back to you guys.
Speaking of things to investigate and look back into.
Ooh, good segue.
My segues are legit today. I believe you have a one last article for us.
Oh yeah. So we are going to be talking about the FIA admitting that they were too lenient on Max and Logan Sargent from Singapore GP. So another human error situation happening where somebody after the fact is like, yeah, we made a mistake. And it's like, okay, it was too fucking late. We don't really care now. It doesn't really have any impact on the race that ended a week ago. So, thanks
for
I guess,
race. I don't.
Finally owning up to it. Yeah.
We talked
It's just wild, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. I mean, it's just like, I'm like, this is the shit that we talk about every week. Everybody says every single week, Red Bull gets off super, super easily on what should be slam dunk penalties for most things, grid drops. Like,
and sorry to interrupt, but when she says slam dunk, it is slam dunk said by commentators, by F1 drivers, by teams, by media. Literally everybody saw what Max did last week. And literally everybody said, not super drastic, but everybody said that's at least 3 spots.
Yeah. So here we are a week later after everybody fought tooth and nail to be like, no, it's not about, like trying to defend the indefensible. And they're basically saying like, yeah, we messed up. And it's like, yeah, we fucking know. You do this every week. Like, this is why Gunther said that y'all should be paid professional. This should be a whole thing because we can't have week to week this, inconsistency. There needs to be something that keeps people like accountable. And, usually when there's like a paycheck or a job on the line, people tend to not, be so loose with how they interpret the rules. But it is
super
F1,
inconsistent,
so,
but very consistent in leniency towards Red Bull and Max.
Right. Correct.
We talked about this before the show. It's they don't, let's say they don't say sorry, or I didn't say sorry, but they don't say they messed up, and it creates the precedent of next time somebody gets told about impeding, I'm just gonna say, okay, Max impeded 17 times and nothing happened to him.
Right.
Max parked at the exit of the pit lane and nobody did anything. So you create that precedent now that I have proof that you are not treating us equally, but this our bad, this apology
Right.
is meaningless to me, because basically what they're saying is, oh damn, you're right, we created a
Yeah.
terrible president. Now the only way we can eliminate that president is by saying we messed up.
Right.
But you already gave Max that incredible advantage. And
Well,
Max
am
is
I?
in his standings, his points, everything,
Yeah.
whatever. But like, you gave him a huge advantage over other drivers.
Yeah.
And now you tell me my bad, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Like,
Very
oops.
very Helmut Marko says something racist and then says I didn't mean it. And it's like,
Right.
okay, cool, everything's fine now.
Yeah.
We're all good now.
But they did guarantee that they moving forward, that would not be the precedent. So now, if you impede somebody, you're not getting a fine and a reprimand. You're getting a grid drop. So,
I'm still mad at it because you didn't give it to Max when you were supposed to give it to Max.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's interesting that, you don't want to create a precedent. So moving forward, we're going to enforce
follow the rule book. Moving forward, we're going to follow the rule book that we'll be following forever, but did not follow for Max.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to not the good stuff. All this is good stuff.
The good stuff.
Let's move on to some track info.
Action.
Track action. That's a much better one.
Traction. I'm just
no, that's is that a
I need to go to fucking bed.
Traction? The traction while you traction. Track action. Because
Track
when you're in track action, you might see traction. So when you're anyways in FP,
okay, Dr. Seuss.
I would honestly like green eggs and ham because like it is breakfast time over here, so like that'd be fine.
I'm hungry.
Free practices came and went. I think one very common thread in those free practices is from the get-go, from moment one, from the first lap that dude put in, this is going to be a Max Verstappen redemption weekend.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even think they did testing. They put the new floor on his car. He had soft tires on, I think, for almost all the sessions. And they were just like, go ahead, get out of your system. Like just do you. We'll be over here just taking some notes. Like there was
in FP2, he was the first car on track. He put in one lap. He went back to the pit, not to the pit, to the garage. He spent 32 minutes in the garage before anybody did a better time than him. And that's just crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also during practice, FP1, Checo was super clutch in FP1 because he almost had a whole session without any bad things happening, but super clutch. Right at the end, he went off the track. Okay, so we're still here. We're still here. He still got it. He's still. I don't know what to say. FP2 comes around. Verstappen is doing his thing. McLaren and Ferrari are looking really good. Gasly goes into the Barry at the end of FP2. So Gasly looks like he's been struggling this weekend. And we had a little bit of tire testing too. During free practice.
Which apparently Lewis Hamilton hated. He was very vocal on the radio about that.
And if he hates it,
then it's to be hated. Yeah, exactly. We hate it. Get rid of it. Throw it out. So he had there. I guess they were on kind of the equivalent of what will be next year's medium tire. Okay. And he was just like, this shit's trash. Like
you have to drive.
He's like, I want to pit right now. Yeah. He's like, fuck this shit. So there.
Yeah, but then more of the same in free practice 3. Just a lot of domination from Red Bull, from McLaren.
Yeah, the bull is back.
They just flipped the switch. They just
singular, by the way, not both.
Oh yes. The
bull is back. Yeah.
I understood, but I'm glad that you tell. Yeah,
let me clarify my joke to the audience. In case somebody.
The one bull is back. That is for sure. Free practices are done and over. We move on to qualifying as per usual. I'm gonna go ahead and give a brief update on the drivers that were eliminated during the qualifying. Then Tasha's going to give you the one and the only rundown you need for qualifying. If you didn't watch it, this is the place to be because it's like you watched it by the end of this. All right.
Yeah.
So Q1 comes along and we have from 16th through 20th. The drivers who were eliminated were Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll is a mess. Is a fucking
Trash.
mess. Just get him
Basura.
out of here, okay? Like
Straight up garbage,
we got
dumpster fire.
I just don't understand. So
And that's putting it nicely.
It is absolutely. So we have Boda, Stroll, Nico Hulkenberg, Joe Guan Yu, who complained about being impeded, and Logan Sargent. Tasha, can you give us a rundown of what happened during this session?
Let's go down the bullets. Which, by the way, qualifying for East Coast was 2 a.m. Okay, like I am struggling mentally at this point.
Remember when I said she's the hardest working person in the business? This is why.
What the fuck? I feel like I'm in a delirium dream. Anyway, bullet points. Q1. Here we go. So Lawson opens up the session for us. He's on a really great lap. He looks really comfortable. These are tracks that basically he has not driven as an F1 driver before, and his comfortability level on basically all the tracks that he's been on so far has been really impressive.
One thing I'll say is for this track in particular, he does drive it in Super Formula. So this is actually the first track of the ones that he's driven so far that he has a semblance of comfort.
Right,
like you
exactly.
said, not in an F1 car.
Not an F1 car, totally different. But still very comfortable. Everybody's on softs for this session. The track is pretty hot. They also said humidity was really high as well. So it's kind of grueling again, like Singapore, but just slightly different. But yeah, so everybody's on softs. Lawson starts. He looks really comfortable. He goes top of the leaderboard to start with at 131.7. Stroll comes in at 132.2. Again, on softs. Verstappen is basically flying just like we established from free practice. He's just on one. He goes, purple in all three sectors. He's the first to go into the 129s. Perez goes second, fastest at 130. Lewis Hamilton comes in, goes P3, does 131. Norris splits the two Red Bulls, goes P2 with the 130. George comes in at 139 and goes 5 and 6 with Lewis. With about 9 minutes to go in the session, Logan Sargent cries in red, white, and blue. Brother, please. We're playing taps for him.
Do you think the American anthem starts playing when he hits the wall?
Just
because it's not going to play when he hits. He's not going to get on the podium. So
Eagle tears. Yeah. Walmart flags at half mast. Shut up. I'm gonna go to Walmart.
Flags at the. What happened? You didn't hear?
We're Logan crashed out of Q1. What else is fucking?
No, this was totally different. This was totally different.
Yeah. So yeah, big shunt for Logan. He basically gives us our first red flag of the session at turn 18. The whole left-hand side of his car is heavily damaged. The mechanics in his garage just look distraught. They're like, again? Shit.
Give us 1 week. One week.
They're so tired.
Look at Albon. Do that, please. Do that for us.
So meanwhile, while they're cleaning up the track, we have Norris P2, Piastri P3. He's 0.5 off Norris. Perez P4, 0.7 off Max. Russell P5, Hamilton P6, Alonso P7, Ocon P8, Tsunoda at P9, and Zhou at P10. You also have Gasly, Albon, and Hulkenberg with their lap times deleted, so they're in the bottom.
Yep.
Leclerc P14 and Sainz P15. And once the session resumes, we have Zhou, Leclerc, Bottas noted for going too slow during the red flag. I actually don't know what came from that, so we'll have to stick a pin in that. And then with 5 minutes to go, Leclerc and Sainz are out to set their times. Leclerc goes P3, half a second down on Verstappen. Basically, no one's touching this man's times, at all. He goes P3, Sainz is P5. I did notice kind of even though Sainz has had the momentum in his favor this weekend, he definitely seemed like a step behind Leclerc. So I don't know if Charles feels like he has something to prove. But he's also kind of leading the Ferrari team so far this weekend.
Charles should definitely feel like he has something to prove, though, right?
For sure.
He should 100%.
Yeah, for sure. Then you have Lawson who puts it in P7, and I think that kind of like scared people a little bit because that
Yeah.
got everybody else to kind of come out the garage. Your times basically were not safe. They said that the knockout time was about 1:31. So essentially, all people felt like they were not safe. So everybody kind of comes out, which causes a huge traffic jam. Bottas, Hulkenberg, Albon, Gasly are in our bottom five, along with Sargent, who DNF'd. And with 2 minutes to go, we have the track is the busiest that it's been all session. Gasly, Magnussen, and Ocon go P7, P9, and P8, so they're pretty safe. Zhou's lap gets deleted, so he's out. Stroll only goes P15, Tsunoda P7, Russell P8, Lawson P4. But he also put on new softs for this lap, so he jumped up to P4. Yeah, insane. We had Hamilton at P10, Bottas P15, Magnussen P15, who knocks out Valtteri for the final spot into Q2 with a 1:30.9. So that's right about the knockout time that they had mentioned earlier. So that is Q1.
Valtteri and Zhou did really well in FP3, and they
Yeah.
started talking, and maybe they'll do well. They did not. They did not.
Yeah.
Zhou, I know that Zhou was saying that he got impeded, but I don't know if we're counting impeding this week because we weren't counting it last week. So I'm not sure if we count impeding as a rule this week.
Right.
But he did say that it was, but it just might be him just, just feels bad for him. Lawson P4 puts it in like Lawson.
Yeah.
I don't know. One thing that I'm keeping an eye out is Yuki said, which is fine, it's true. Yuki said like Liam Lawson has gotten the best result so far with getting that 9th.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing like how Yuki keeps going in these qualifyings and then on the race.
Yeah.
So we get to Q2 and again from 11th through 15th, these are the drivers that were eliminated. Liam Lawson, Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Esteban Ocon, and Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah. And here's the rundown.
What do you got? What's the breakdown?
Max is first out on used softs, which are most drivers. They mentioned most drivers are out on used softs to do their kind of banker lap first. He has a small snap in sector 1, but still goes purple. Basically, all 3 sectors are purple. Like nothing is stopping him.
Gets away with it.
Yeah. So he goes P1 with a time of 1:29.9. Albon goes P2 with 1:31.5. Leclerc swaps him for P2 by 0.4, and then Sainz goes P3. You have Hamilton and Russell coming out. And they both go P4 and P5. Perez about 0.4 off of Max goes P2. Piastri crushing sector 1. Norris was out at this time as well, so they're kind of there's this back and forth with Norris and Piastri so far this weekend. Piastri's edging it out, so he crushes sector 1. Norris goes P3 with a 1:32, and Piastri a 10th faster into P2. Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Albon, Magnussen are all in the bottom 5, about a 10th down from Lawson, who's in P10 with a 1:31.2. With 5 minutes to go, Albon is out on the track. The car looks a little bit hard to drive, but he's kind of managing to still put in decent times in each sector. He does do he goes P7 with a 1:35, and the projected knockout time is around 1:30. With 2 minutes to go, we have Yuki sitting in P5.
It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that just like you mentioned, Albon goes and gets P7 with 1:30.5. Projected knockout is 1:30.
Yeah.
Max put a 1:29.96.
Yeah. First
go.
Exactly.
Like we are talking about track like at this point with your breakdown, like remember track evolution. Like and then all of this, it's so bad.
Yeah. So good if you're Max, bad for everybody
exactly.
2 minutes to go. Yeah, so 2 minutes ago, we have Yuki sitting in P5. Verstappen, Piastri, and Norris, based off their times, just decide that they're going to stay in and save tires for the next round. So they're done for this session. Magnussen, Alonso, and Hamilton are out on track at this point. Lewis goes P10. He's at risk. Magnussen, P9. Alonso, P8. Hamilton, thank God, shoots up to P3. That little chrome helmet, put it to work. So he goes up to P3. And now Lawson's at risk. Russell goes P7. Drops to P8 after Yuki goes P7. So whatever they sprinkled in the AlphaTauri this weekend, good for them. Looks like the car is pretty decent so far. Alonso basically like ekes it out.
Yeah.
He's a couple hundredths of a second away, but he's in P10, Norris P9, and basically just a half a second separate the top 10 for this session, and that is Q2.
It was
And that was crazy. Yeah.
that was crazy. That was a really good
Yeah.
session. I did notice that we have more of the Lewis Hamilton goes through in very stressful ways.
Yeah,
It
essentially very stressful ways. Yeah.
can't be easy.
Although I will say this, because of the situation with practice, I kind of just don't have any expectations for this race. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm just sort of like chilling between this session so far and last race. I'm just kind of like, they can't hurt me anymore. I'm not expecting anything. Nothing hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, if we go P10 and Q2, why not?
25 times. Shame on me.
Exactly at this point. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Q2 goes by, and then we have Q3 come along, and the starting grid for the race for the top 10 is going to be Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, and Fernando Alonso.
All right, and then the rundown for Q3. Everybody starts on old soft tires for their banker laps, aside from Norris, Piastri, and Verstappen, who all have a fresh set of softs because, they saved them. They noted that the wind picked up to start the session, which does kind of affect some of the cars. I think it's like a headwind, so a lot of them are having a little bit of issues with that as it starts to pick up. But we go to Verstappen first. He basically looks just really smooth and comfortable on track. Like we're on board with him, and it's just like he's just la 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 la, like having a great time out there, setting purples left and right. So P1, of course, and he sets a 129. 129. Perez goes next. He sets a 130.4. Hamilton 130.7, which is actually fucking crazy when you think about the disparity of the car. Anyway, moving on. Piastri, 4/10 off of Verstappen, goes into P2. Norris goes
Also
P3.
crazy.
Fucking nuts again. So he goes P3, just 4/100ths off of Piastri, and they both had new softs on for those laps. Perez and Hamilton push to P4 and P5 respectively. Alonso and Russell throw on new softs early for their banker laps. They had started on used, but basically I guess they decided that because it seemed like they wouldn't be able to set faster times, they went and switched for new softs so they could do their laps. And then with 5 laps to go, Russell goes to P4. He's about 1.2 seconds down from Verstappen. Womp womp. Alonso P6. Leclerc is yet to set a time this session, and he's 4/10 off Verstappen in sector 1 as we follow along his lap. He ends up going P4 with Sainz in P5. Verstappen sets provisional pole with a 128.8, which is crazy.
She says provisional, but
yeah, provisional. Yeah. Perez, once again, 7/10 off Verstappen. He goes P5. Hamilton to end the session is P7, Russell P8, Tsunoda P9, and Alonso P10. Crazy.
Alonso continues his streak of always making Q3.
Yeah.
We've definitely have talked about how he is, I guess Aston Martin in general is less competitive, but he finds his way to Q3 every time. Max's fastest lap in Q3 was a 128.877. I don't see any other driver get to 128.
They're not even close.
I guess it's almost 129, but still, like there's no other driver at 129 either.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say that the fastest lap Checo put in was in Q3, which is roughly equivalent to Max's Q2.
Yeah.
So it takes 3 qualifying sessions for Checo to find a way to be about half a second slower than Max.
Yeah.
And that's just it's just not it doesn't make any sense because Max could have come here and sucked, after Singapore and everything, but like he's back, he's doing the same thing that he's been doing, But now it's not the first race of the season anymore, or the second or the
Yeah,
third, and Checo is still doing the same shit.
it's
Still can't get
crazy.
there. Still can't get
It's
there.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, I don't
I
know.
do know at one point.
Yeah,
I do know at one point they mentioned that Max had the new floor and Checo had the old floor. I don't know if at some point they eventually put the new floor because they were just doing testing. So I don't remember if that contributed to part of it. But I also just feel like no matter what the parts are on his car, it just feels like he's not
yeah.
extracting the maximum out of it. Like regardless, he shouldn't be 7/10 off of Max. Like that's crazy. There shouldn't be like two McLarens in between. Two McLarens, the
And
world's
Charles
most
Leclerc,
unpredictable Mercedes, like you know what
yeah.
I'm yeah, Charles, like they just doesn't make any like sense. So regardless of what's happening with the upgrades or not, like it's just sort of like you're the car that you have, the tool that you have, you're just not extracting anything out of it. Like put even
And,
Liam Lawson or anybody else in that car and they're gonna fucking go for it. And I just feel like he's not going
and
for it.
that's exactly what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. Is like at this point you can't hit me with the argument like, oh, somebody else would do the same as him. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I don't
Like I
think
don't
so.
think so. I think you put a
Yeah.
Leclerc in that car, you put even a Lawson in that car, and no, I don't think they're gonna be doing the same thing
Yeah.
Checo is doing.
Yeah.
Like forget whether or not they be Max, but they wouldn't be separated by two McLarens and a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's like
What are we doing here? Yeah.
exactly. um. Anyways, so that is the breakdown for free practices and for qualifying.
Yeah.
Um. Now comes the good stuff. The
Yay.
the time to hold us and you accountable with our predictions.
I love predictions.
Yeah, I'm gonna swing with mine right off the bat just to change order of how we do this sometimes.
Oh.
And I am just gonna say that there's no way Verstappen loses this race.
Yeah.
Free space is going to free space this week.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't know why. Sometimes your gut says something and you're like, I don't like what you're thinking, gut, but it is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a Max Lando Leclerc podium. I
Hmm.
I've been hurt before by Piastri being in the front
Yeah.
row,
Yeah.
and my heart wants him to stay in the front row, but I think this is gonna
Yeah.
be I think this is gonna be one of those races where again his inexperience, not as a bad thing, just as a literal thing. He does not have as
Yeah.
much experience, and I've structured it better. It seems to me that one of the most difficult things about being a young or rookie driver is
Mhm.
starting in the front row.
Yeah.
I think starting in the front row is a difficult thing to do, especially if you
Mhm.
haven't done it much, which you have obviously haven't done it much
Yeah.
because you are a rookie or
You're new.
inexperienced.
Yeah.
I think that first lap is super difficult
Yeah.
for anybody, but also for the rookie driver.
I will say, I think Oscar adapts really quickly. I know he's had some pretty sketchy first laps in some races, but I do feel like um I feel like maybe he kind of knows what to expect. So even though he's not like, years experience, I think
Mhm.
just having the same kind of experience back to back a few times this season,
Yeah.
I think he'll maybe make smarter choices because the car is there. He doesn't have to do all the overtaking in the first lap. We always say this about even like, the Red Bulls. It's like, you can just kind of wait it out because your car
Mhm.
is in a better position to make overtakes. So I think as long as he kind of keeps his head on straight and just like focuses, I think he'll be fine. I mean, science is nowhere near him this time, thankfully. So we're
What do
in
you
safe
what do
hands
you
there.
what signs?
No, no reason. I'm not bringing that up for
Oh,
any
no reason.
reason
Okay.
in particular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, he looks pretty safe. I mean, like
Yeah.
Norris and Leclerc, they're hard racers, but I don't think that they're gonna cause any shit like,
No,
on the
and I
first
really like
lap.
what you said.
Yeah.
He adapts really well, and he's been
Yeah.
in this situation
Yeah.
this year. So expecting something better is
Yeah.
definitely doable. Um, Seeing
All right.
Oscar second and Lando third reminds
Mm-hmm.
me that during the press conference of this week, Lando and Oscar were in the same one,
Mm-hmm.
and Lando was asked about Oscar's new contract, and he said all the right things. Like he said,
Mhm.
you know, he's been doing great. But one of the things he said, and I honestly think it was a mistake. I think he said this by mistake or whatever. But like he said, no, he's been doing really great. He pushes me a lot, which is something I don't want, but that's fine. And he literally says like he pushes me a
Yeah.
lot, which is not something I want.
Right.
And I don't know. I see this and I get the vibes that it's like this is going to become a bad thing for Lando or McLaren with regards to
Yeah.
like this
I
the
mean,
dynamic between them.
it's clear that Oscar Piastri is not Daniel Ricciardo. So that whole, making Lando look better by comparison, just even like, even last race, Singapore, Lando had the updates, Oscar didn't. And in quali, up until the crash that, ended Q1, Oscar was pretty close. I think like 3 tenths off or something like that in a car without updates to,
Yeah.
your teammate who's more experienced. So he's like, his foot is on his neck. Like, let's be
Yeah.
fucking for real. Like once the next year car comes out and it's more, even more developed than what they started with this season, I really see like the inter team battle being like kind of intense and fierce because Lando's not going to want to be relegated to driver number 2. He's been driver number 1 this whole time. But
And the
Oscar
prize
is
possession, the like the
yeah.
shiny, the like nothing is more precious than my Lando.
Yeah. So yeah, and Zach Brown's got a new son. Like, can you imagine? Have you seen Stepson with Macaulay Culkin and
No.
what the fuck? What is his name? The Hobbit guy. Christopher, help
Elijah
me.
Wood?
Elijah Wood. Yeah, when they were young. Do you not remember that movie?
I didn't watch that movie, no.
Ah, yeah, and like Macaulay Culkin was like the evil stepson,
What?
basically. It was crazy. I don't know. It was just read the synopsis of it, but it's just like that's what it reminds me of, like that kind of like, they're brothers, and it's all good until it's not, and then one of them is like psycho. I see some issues coming. Can I get my prediction for next week or for the race tomorrow?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we'll do it at the same time so we can keep it all grouped together.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Verstappen, Piastri, because I do want to choose violence. Yes. I want him to stay in that P2. And I don't want to do this, but I feel like it'll happen. I think Perez will also end up on the podium. So I'll say Perez P3, but really it could be Red Bull 1-2. But let's say hopeful. So Verstappen, Piastri, Perez.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's the regular Checo.
Practical, yeah.
No, that's where like Checo puts in a 3 and it's like, guys, but look, he's doing really well. He got there on the race.
He got there, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's fine, sweetie, but Max Verstappen is already having dinner.
Right.
And like Checo's still in the race. So, like,
exactly.
Yeah. Lord. I think that's a very sensible, very sensible podium for sure. Sure. The only thing I wanted to say, the last thing I wanted to say about Lando and Oscar, and you alluded to it a little bit, with how Oscar adapts is this year, Oscar Piastri is learning A, how to be a Formula 1 race car driver, and B, how to drive the McLaren. Lando is learning how to drive the McLaren. Next year, Oscar and Lando both only have to learn how to drive the McLaren.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be crazy for Oscar.
Like, Oscar learned this track on the sim. Like, Zach Brown was talking about the fact that, like, he's never been here before. So they had to, do a lot of sim work. And this track is nuts. And it's really difficult. And he is qualified ahead of Lando on a track he's never been on before in an F1 car. Like, that's crazy.
Oh, you've been here? So, yes. You've been here before,
next year
Lando.
is going to be a problem. Like, a problem. I will be there. I am set. I'm ready. I got my popcorn, my drinks. Like, bring it on.
Speaking of being there, you know who's with us?
Who?
Our people in our Twitter,
audience,
our YouTube, our audience. And
I love y'all, by the way. You're just as chaotic as we are, and like I just appreciate that so much.
Y'all are chaotic, okay?
Chaotic. I love it. I love it.
We ask for a prediction, y'all give us whatever you want.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
We love it. Exactly. We want more of that. I need more of that. Like, what are your top 3? You guys are like, no, actually, I'm gonna give you a paragraph about what I think.
Yeah, let me give
Love
you
it.
this dissertation on
Yeah.
this other
In
thing
this
first.
essay, I will. Yeah. Love it though. We love it.
Tasha, read us a tweet from our great esteemed audience.
All right. So, of course, like Mario just said, we asked you guys what your predictions / podium predictions were for this race. The first tweet I'm going to read is from Varmelton. They said, Mercedes are not seeing the podium unless Lewis pulls off something magical. It seems like it'll be a Verstappen plus the McLarens.
And honestly, like,
yeah,
our predictions are basically a Verstappen, a McLaren, and something else on the top. So,
right, exactly.
They're on the money. Like that's really what it feels it's going to be. Peter Hamdullah, F1 Vibes, had a very important question.
Yeah.
No prediction, but an important question.
Yeah.
Where the fuck was Perez? Has this man no shame? In the fastest car, and he's outclassed by 2 McLarens. This man is so unserious. He's a total waste man.
Oof.
Tell us how you really feel. Damn. But then the cherry on top of this delicious sundae that was this tweet comes from Greg, MBA. Just some sound advice.
Yeah.
Says Perez needs to go home and just be a family man. Just raise your family, Checo.
Just go, go hang out with your kids. You're done.
You got the money. You got to just go hang out with the boys. You know, go hang out with the wife. It's all good. It's all good.
Go raise your baby that your wife just had. Yeah, yeah. Anything will be more productive than this.
Than losing to Verstappen like this, absolutely.
Every week, yeah, absolutely.
What do you have for us next?
I liked a tweet from Jonathan Tranter. He says, think Lewis has a good chance of 4th. A podium if the McLarens suffer any drama. Worried George will
fighting together.
I mean, it's possible because they did come together before. He says, worried George will wear out his tires early to get behind Lewis. Yeah, we've seen that on that's happened before. Encouraging the team to let him pass, even though they probably won't. It'll cause us all unnecessary stress. Yeah, I think these are.
That is the script.
Possibilities, yeah.
That is how the script has played out a bunch of times.
Cook them tires and then try to like stay in front. Yeah, we've seen that.
Let me go in front real quick. No, it's fine.
I'm faster than him. Yeah,
I'm so much faster. No, I know all the numbers. Don't say it. I know, but like I think so.
Yeah.
The last tweet we want to read out is, I think this might be the closest thing to an actual prediction that we got. Yeah. Stephanie at Fast Pit Stop says, race prediction, boring. The top 3 are going to stay in that order. I just hope that Lewis can clear the Ferraris.
Yeah.
That's same.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, for me, it's another race starting behind Carlos Sainz. So I'm already like dreading it because you know how he gets down. So
no, he doesn't do it.
But once we get past Sainz, it'll be great.
Oscar's fault. It's Oscar's fault. It's always somebody. It's always the other.
It's always somebody else's fault. Yeah.
It's always the other person's fault.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm interested. I'm interested in how Leclerc will do because I think Leclerc should feel like he needs to prove himself a little bit, just because I think we can all agree that Ferrari are very, very clear that he is the golden boy of that team. And he is behind Sainz in standings, and Sainz have had the 2 most recent really, really good weekends where he's won. And then Leclerc starting 4th and Sainz 6th. Yeah. I think Sainz overtakes him early, and it's like Charles needs to reevaluate some stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to see where they end up. The track is so hot. I do feel like the tire degradation for them is going to be a huge... I mean, it's always a huge thing for the Ferraris. They just chew through tires. So it'll be interesting to see where they actually end up versus where they start. I would love to, again, see Lewis clear them early so that we don't have to deal with them and their slow asses too long, because I really don't want to lose that much time behind them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they end up. And obviously, if there's any team order situations, like what happens with that, because there's always some drama there with them not wanting to work together. Well, the Claire wants to work together, but Carlos doesn't.
Carlos
That's not his
knows better.
thing. Yeah. He said, that's not my
Do
thing.
you think? Have you ever
I'll
watched
pass.
X-Men? Any version of X-Men?
Which, yes, I have some of yes.
Yeah. Are you
A
familiar?
handful
with,
of different versions.
That's fine. Are you familiar with Cyclops, the one that shoots?
Yeah.
You think Lewis's helmet can do that?
That would be fucking awesome.
Because
we
we
can get rid of a few of these motherfuckers
listen,
early on.
Hey, I see a Leclerc in front of me. I see. You know? I hear a George Russell say, "Can we consider maybe possibly having Lewis go behind?" Easy, take care.
I would get him out early. Yeah,
early.
Yeah,
early.
Just get him out the way early. I would actually turn her. I put, like in the mirror, just point it toward the mirror and have it like beam behind me.
Yeah,
I'm going. Yeah, I would get rid of everybody. I'd be the only motherfucker left on that track. I will tell you that much. If I had
Lewis, if you ever need us to
Cyclops,
defend you in court, I'm gonna show up like this. Honest. What? Lewis didn't fire a laser. What? A laser?
What?
What?
So unlike him.
That he would never. He would never. He saves bees. He saves bees. Okay.
Yeah.
Vettel only followed him on IG. He would never.
He would never do that. 100% agree. Yeah.
This
He's going to jail if we defend him.
This is a good episode. This is what happens when you podcast at 4 a.m.
Yeah, we should do this more often.
Yeah, we should definitely not do this more often. No.
Well, yeah. Because a girl needs some sleep.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. This is a good time to just say thank you to everybody who's still with us. Yeah. If you're still listening, if you've enjoyed the episode, make sure to let us know. Spotify, Apple Music, make sure you got those downloads in, those 5 stars in. We woke up early. We watched qualifying. Tasha took amazing notes so that y'all didn't have to do it. So we hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to reach out to us. Like I've said, we are very good about seeing that, interacting. Tasha and I were both super pleasantly surprised at how many people replied to the tweet asking for today's prediction. It's very encouraging that even though I hate my life for being awake, other people are there too. And
you guys were here, yeah.
And
you guys held it down. That's why we had to be here.
Damn,
can't let them down.
Absolutely,
can't let the people down.
Absolutely,
because everybody went to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like the sun isn't even up.
No, the sun isn't even out yet. I'm trying to get back to bed before it does that. You can find us on socials. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us everywhere. If you have any comments, suggestions, let us know. This has been really fun. I joke about waking up early, but I would do it again probably 3 more times, not more than 3. Like that'd be crazy. Like we would have to follow a different sport at that point that is more sensible towards our time.
Right.
But I've been Mario. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mario_APM. Tasha, where can the people find you?
I am on Threads, Twitter, Instagram, and potentially Tumblr, but we'll get into that later.
Are we back in Tumblr? You can find me.
I think I'm gonna do a Tumblr. I'm not gonna lie. Just the idea of like sharing like mood board, like photos that like Lewis Hamilton helmet photos, I'm sure are going fucking crazy on Tumblr right now. Could you imagine the edits and the GIFs? I want to be where the people are. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I want to be. Anyway, that's maybe happening, but I'll update you guys later.
Let Tasha know if you want you want her to pop off on Tumblr. Let her know. Yeah. Let her know if you've got a Tumblr as well. Fanfic. Let us know if you have mood boards with Lewis Hamilton's helmet. I will like those. I've basically become a person that likes anything with pictures of Lewis Hamilton wearing that helmet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks again, everybody. Tasha, would you please take us away so we can go to sleep?
Yes, guys. Thank you again for being up with us. We appreciate you listening. And as always, please remember, no matter what happens in life, keep it on the black stuff. See you next Saturday.
Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quickstop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And Remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.